Well, there's plenty on the agenda, of course, for the leaders to be discussing. There's the AUKUS situation and the relationship between our two countries, but also, of course, what's happening in the Middle East. We've seen the French, President Macron, proposing this international coalition to fight Hamas, similar to what we saw against ISIS. What sort of role could Australia play in that, do you think?
Well, I mean, we could join up with our allies and do the world a great favour by trying to eliminate Hamas. Which is what Netanyahu wants to do anyway, obviously. But Hamas are a roadblock to peace. They don't want peace, of course. They want war. So they're never going to go along with international norms. They set their own rules, and we don't like them very much, their rules. And so there's always going to be conflict. Until Hamas is defeated, there's no chance of getting rid of the conflict. ISIS eventually got defeated. The same will happen to Hamas in the end. But when's the end? That's the problem.
Absolutely. And for governments, it can be a tricky tightrope to balance, can't it, in terms of the domestic political scene, in terms of how it reacts to what's going on in the Middle East, where there are such passionate views on both sides of the fence. Oh,
yeah, we've got a Jewish community here, we've got a Palestinian community here, so there's always going to be tensions. You can't get around that. But when the crunch comes, Australia will go along with the civilised world and support a civilised team in Israel. We have no choice, because Hamas have prevented us from having a choice.
Yeah, we are seeing here at home moves for the ADF to be over to the Middle East in terms of some troops heading there, with Anthony Albanese away. Obviously, the spotlight here is on Richard Marles back home. How's he going with some of these big decisions, do you think, as Defence Minister and Acting PM?
Well, I think the decision-making process just goes on. It's not unusual for Prime Ministers to be away, and so there's always a decision-making process in their absence. We're fortunate in that the Deputy Prime Minister, Richard Marles, is a very strong player, very strong. And so, if decisions are left to him, I have no problem with that at all.